pleasure to welcome you to this focus on China, held probably exactly halfway through the International Festival of Business here in Liverpool. It has been put together by London Chamber and UKTI with the support of RBS. There is a sponsor, which is the big word, a language solutions provider with 12,000 linguists worldwide, and it is in partnership with the China-Britain Business Council and the Hong Kong Trade Development Council. So thank you to all of them.
It's great to be here and to see so many of you taking an interest in what I think is one of the most exciting markets in the world.
I met with the Chief of Police for Guangdong Province, a province of about 130 million people. This one guy controls a police force of about 3 times the number of all of the police in the UK put together. I met him, he looked at the product, we discussed the issues that he'd got, and he started purchasing within 3 weeks.
I think for everybody here, since we, from what I know, we have a very close tie with China, then we have to capture this huge opportunity.
So I think there are further opportunities for growth. It is a high maintenance space. You have to be prepared to invest for the long term, both in the infrastructure but also in managing those relationships. And if you get that right, then I think there are terrific opportunities for everybody.
So find that competitive advantage, define your market, start small and realistic, and your first most important job is to find your partner. Finding the right partner is your passport to success. Find the wrong partner, you have wasted 3 years, 4 years, maybe more.
And that's the interesting thing with China, with the consumer there. They're not necessarily price sensitive. If they see value in your product, if they feel that it is safe and genuine and it has that value to them, they're not necessarily going to quibble about price.
There is a real preference for multinational brands across a range of products, and that's borne out by consumer surveys. The leading brands across a range of products, from mobile phones to fast foods, are all multinationals, not Chinese brands.
Intellectual property, I think we're seeing an absolute sea change in attitude in China, and most of the patents which are filed in China are by Chinese companies. Most of the battles in court are between Chinese companies, and it means that Chinese companies, Chinese people are taking intellectual property very seriously. They value it much more, and that can only mean that we'll see a better enforcement regime in the future.
Also, I find they're very respectful of establishment. So when I've done buyers meetings, one of the things I actually mentioned to them is that Lisa's my twin sister, and she's also my partner in the business. We both received an MBE from the Queen this year for food and drink. But that actually helps enormously when you go abroad. For us, it's just part and parcel of the day that we do. But over there, if you have awards, you have honours, accolades, you've got to big it up if you want to sell into China.
The average Chinese visitor spends about £2,500 while they're in Britain, and if you think the average traveller probably spends about £600, so they're hugely outspending the rest of the visitors. As I've said, every mature market is now thinking about its tourism industry, and countries like France and Germany and the USA and Australia are all really focused on that Chinese market and about thinking of the welcome they offer from the very beginning, from the application for visas right until when people turn up in the country, making sure that industry is ready and willing and able to deal with Chinese and match their expectations when they're in country.
You're now in the Hong Kong session of this China Focus seminar. We're going to have a plenary speaker who we brought from Hong Kong, Mr. Richard Flood, the Deputy Trade Commissioner of UKTI at the consulate in Hong Kong. Then we will have a panel.
I think as a place to go, if you're looking to mix business with a nice environment and some amount of pleasure, then Hong Kong is really hard to beat. It's been a very easy city to settle down in, very easy city to live in, It's still a city where East meets West, reputedly the most westernised Chinese city, at the same time as being the most Chinese Western city. It's frequently at the top of, or close to the top of, rankings of ease of doing business, business transparency, economic freedom. It's ideally placed as a regional hub.
If you are in business, whether you're a corporate, an SME, a startup, you can no longer afford, if you're based in Liverpool, you can no longer think of your world as being Merseyside, and if you're based in Leeds, you can no longer think of your world as being Yorkshire. You have to think globally. And if you think globally, you cannot ignore the opportunity that Asia represents, particularly China at the heart of Asia. And if you think about Asia, and if you think about China, you should think about Hong Kong as your base for doing business in China.
And I think you can all take comfort in that in Hong Kong you have a legal system that you understand.
For you who are new, maybe to Hong Kong and China, no idea, but already exporting, we have got advisors to give you, to steer you in the right direction, and also to link you up, I think, very much with the network that we already have here and also overseas.
Our own professional institute, the Royal Institute of British Architects, has also seen the importance of Hong Kong as a gateway to Asia. They have recently set up a Hong Kong chapter, of which Alfred is a member, and they've also started to hold the final professional exams there, of which another of my partners is an external examiner. And these things all add to and build upon that established reputation, and we've heard reputation mentioned quite a few times.
Finally, thank you to you for your participation, attendance, and some very interesting questions. See you again. Thank you.